Okay, guys. Real quick here, I'm going to go through my little review of distributive property. We did a really good job of seeing the arrays and working with the arrays. I'm just going to work with it with numbers so that hopefully you guys see a little bit better of a connection with distributive property. So real quick, just to review, let's say I have 5 times 4. Okay. Let's say I have this 5 times 4 here. And you probably right away off the bat know what 5 times 4 is. You probably should at this point. Okay, but let's say that I wanted to use the distributive property to determine this. Well, with the distributive property, I can take a number and I can break it into an addition problem. Okay, so let's say I want to break 5 into an addition problem. I'm going to break that into 3 plus 2. Okay. Okay. Now, because I broke that into 3 plus 2, I can go ahead and multiply that by 4. Okay. You guys still see how this would end up being 5 times 4. It would be the same thing. Okay. But that really doesn't help me too much. Okay. So when I distribute this, what I'm really going to end up saying is I'm going to do 3 times 4 plus 2 times 4. And we know that in order of operations, we do our multiplication first. So 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 times 4 is 8. And I know that 12 plus 8 is 20. Okay? Now, I know what you're probably saying. You're probably saying, well, Mr. Heineman, I just know right away that 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay, that's a multiplication table. I've memorized my multiplication tables. Okay, so one of the purposes of this might be for a different type of problem. Like, let's say you had to do 15 times 9. Okay, we're using a little bit bigger numbers here. Okay, all right, and at 15 times 9, that's not a multiplication table that you memorized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I know my 9s, so how maybe I can break 15 up into something a little bit easier. Oh, I can break 15 up into an addition problem of 10 plus 5. Okay, and so if I can take that 10 plus 5 and multiply it by 9, if I can take that 10 plus 5 and go ahead and multiply by 9, I distribute it out to 9 times 10. Which we know when we multiply by 10, we just add our 0. 9 times 10 is 90. And then we do the 9 times 5. Which is 45. And then I can take my 90 and my 45 and add them together. 90 plus 45. And I would get my 135. All right. And that ends up being my answer to 15 times 9. If you notice, this is one way that would definitely help you too in doing mental math. Okay. So I could mentally say, okay, 15 times 9. Okay, well, I'm going to break my 15 into 10 times 5. 90. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 5 I know is 45. And then a 90 plus 45, I can do that in my head, 135. Okay. So that's a distributive property. That's really the nut and bolts quick review of the distributive property. Hope that helps.